The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys! This is Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Jigsaw Dating, preferred dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys, and broadcasting live from Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star. Now your host, Nicole Hutchison.
Cowboys Nation, happy Friday. Welcome into Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Jigsaw, the preferred dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys in the SWBC studio. I'm Nicole Hutchison alongside Aisha Morrison, Jess Tavares, and Christy Scales. Ladies, while we wait for the Cowboys official practice report for today, we can go ahead and just take a look at the rulings for the Steelers so far. They have Cordero Patterson and Jalen Warren, two running backs, ruled out for the weekend. Of course, Alex Highsmith, one of their linebackers, ruled out as well. First thoughts on the fact that Jalen Warren and Cordero Patterson will be ruling out.
Yeah, well, Patterson has been a thorn in the side of the Cowboys on his previous stops before joining the Steelers, but they were without Warren the previous week, so they'll be promoting Aaron Shamklin up from the practice squad, so he had played last week as well. Of course, they could always put him on the 53-man roster, so probably more likely that he gets elevated tomorrow. But, yeah, Patterson's also a very good returner, and I think that I know we'll talk more as we go along about factors that we think are going to be key in the game. I think special teams will be outdoors, and it might be a little windy. And so field position, if you take a great returner off the field, then that's a big negative for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, they definitely need their 1-2 punch in that run game to continue to be successful in it. And so it seemed like Najee and Cordero. Did I say that right?
Fine.
Okay.
Yep.
Sorry. It's Friday, guys. It is the end of the week. But they were having a good kind of mixture of what they were doing, so that way Najee could get kind of downfield. Cordero was getting up the middle there. 7.1 yards per carry. That's a big loss in your run game when you're averaging that much yardage with your carries in the run game. So I'm interested to see how their run game looks and how this kind of – I would assume they were prepared for this, but how it impacts how they've looked the last few weeks.
Yeah, I did some digging. I like to go creep on opposing teams' Twitters and kind of get a feel for previous weeks how they felt about their play, because we talk on Twitter about during the game. So I was looking, and this Jalen Warren loss is big for the Steelers. If from per most of the Steelers media and some of their fans, he was the guy that was the difference maker. He has amazing change of direction, acceleration, stuff like that. He's a little bit more shifty than any of the other running backs that they have. And when you look at the Cowboys, those are the guys that give the Cowboys trouble. Yeah, it's the guys that can run straight line too, but it's these guys that can get out in space like a Jalen Warren and break down your defense. And then also too, in regard to Alex Highsmith being out, he's their linebacker, but he does a lot from a blitzing perspective as well. So him being out it means something for that defense. It sounds like he's kind of, he's the linebacker. He's the Mike. And, so him not being there seems like it has changed some of their communication and how effective they are playing at that second level as well. What's up?
We were reaching across your camera and everything.
My bad.
Sorry.
Okay, no.
John Machota just reported that Cowboys cornerback Trevon Diggs, ankle, and Carson shoulder are both listed as questionable for Sunday's night in Pittsburgh. Rookie linebacker Maris Liufau, who quad, has been added to the injury report as well. He's also questionable for Sunday. So Diggs did not practice today. Carson and Liufau were both limited. My goodness, my head hurts, and this is stressing me out. Sorry. What does this do now for the Cowboys?
Means that they'll.
My head hurt even more.
Anyway, I believe that even without Diggs leaving practice early the previous day, and again. Being on whatever his status on the injury report, that they would have elevated Amani Oruwariye anyway. Yeah. AO. Can we just henceforth call him AO?
AO.
Okay. So I think that he was going to be elevated anyway, and likely Carl Lawson. So you say, what does it mean? I'm sorry, all you Dalvin Cook fans. You're probably going to have to wait at least another week because the two elevations are going to be used on defensive players. But Andrew Booth will probably be the backup since he had gotten benched at halftime Thursday, week 4 at the Giants. So, it's just more of a domino effect. It just seems like it hits different position groups at different times, and it's the secondary and then defensive line, and now we have to worry about wide receiver as well. But, pretty tough for the secondary this week.
Yeah, I mean, with Trevon, it sounds like, the reports have been positive, at least, with them thinking he's going to be okay and everything. But regardless, with him coming back from this ACL, and he kind of seems like he's starting to get into a rhythm, it's kind of sucks that he might be having a small setback. But I will say, too, in regard to, do you ladies know when Deron Bland, if he's on schedule? Have we gotten any reports about? I know we've been seeing him.
Yeah,
They haven't opened the window yet.
Mike McCarthy just keeps saying that he's making progress. I know earlier this week he had mentioned that he was still waiting for the final go ahead from Britt Brown, but I believe that one was 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So now it's heading into week 5. So he's got about maybe a week left, but even then, I don't think you want to rush that back.
I would guess after the bye week.
Yeah.
That's based on what I've heard from sources. I would guess after the bye week, and Kalen Carson potentially the same thing. Your best shot. Yeah, I knew it wouldn't be this week. If he's still listed as questionable, but I figured that would be the case. But probably next week, and if not, for sure after the bye. I'm assuming both of them.
Okay, and if Maris Lewifau can't go, does that just mean Damone Clark
Damone.
gets more
Gets
time?
more reps, yeah.
All right. Well, that's
Good for
where we are.
Damone.
That's what we are.
Does your confidence level change with this team heading into Sunday now?
I mean, if you have no Trevon, if Trevon doesn't play, because George Pickens, there's no cornerback that matches up with him size-wise.
Yeah.
And with what Justin Fields likes to do on the move and trying to find him, it kind of makes you
You
stressed
can't
out.
sleep on Pickens. I mean, he is a big play guy. Last year, he led the league in yards per catch. So
Not shocking.
he's one of these catalytic players, right? That can make the big plays and yards after catch as well.
Yeah.
So I know every week we say you make sure you got to,
Tackle.
swarm to the ball and arm tackles. You usually associate that with, a bigger running back like a Derrick Henry, but it can be the same with wide receivers as well who are good at yards after catch.
I also feel like without Patterson, their scheme could change a little bit to be more pass heavy. And if that's the case, this just one-ups that, hey, you can go a little more pass heavy this week if Trevon doesn't play, because you're kind of picking on the weaker man again, like you kind of saw in the Ravens game with Andrew Booth and why he got benched during halftime and all of that. But overall, I mean, I'm concerned because it just continues to stack on injury after injury to key player after key player. And Aisha always says there's just some guys you cannot duplicate. You can't replicate their presence on the field. Trayvon's one of those guys. You're already missing a Deron Bland. We knew that. But now you're potentially going without a Trayvon.
And a Micah.
And a Micah and a D-Law. I mean,
care
and
who
then
you
a
are.
Brandin Cooks. And you just keep adding all of these key names. And these are key players that your opposing offensive coordinators scheme against. So at that point, they kind of have free play to mess around on who they find to be the weaker guy.
4 starters being out on defense would be chaotic.
Yeah.
It's about to be tested. You know how Jerry Jones was talking about the offseason? Dak's going to have to figure it out without a supporting cast. Well, this is going to be that true test.
Don't make me upset.
I'm sorry.
Don't
It's
start.
Just the truth. Sucks. But anyways, no, back to the running backs for the Steelers that are out. Does it kind of give you? I know you guys I asked y'all about the overall confidence with this team, with with the Cowboys missing pieses. But as far as with the Steelers using now Najee Harris and Aaron Champlin.
It's Friday.
I told you it's hard. It's
Wow,
hard.
It's Friday.
Champlin. Does it give y'all a little bit of, I guess, a little bit more confidence with this defensive line as far as being able to stop the run, because you don't really know exactly what Aaron can really bring?
I'm confident about the defensive line, more so because how the Steelers play is not what gives them trouble. What gives them trouble is a lot of misdirection, motion, those things, moving pockets. And with this run game, it is very much so like smash mouth, running at you. We're bigger, we're stronger. And so like I said yesterday, talking to some of the guys in the locker room, it seemed like they seemed confident about their game plan. I think they have more trouble with people who are a little bit more fancier at the line of scrimmage. So not having those guys out there might make a difference.
Oh, I mean, also when you've seen the confidence growing from Mozzie Smith, it's hard to not feel confidence growing with him as a player and a secure nose tackle there. So for me, man, it's not the run game I'm concerned about in this game, which sounds surprising considering the previous games. But at this point, it's your secondary and how pass heavy you can really get now if Trey is out as well. Like that's what's more concerning to me is they might look. If I'm scheming for the Steelers and Trayvon's out, you warm up the run a little bit, extend the plays, extend your time of possession, take control of that. But at the end of the day, you can count on explosive plays too if you're picking on guys that got benched at halftime. Like it's not the run game I'm worried about. It's really not. It's your secondary that's banged up at the wrong time.
Yeah, I think they're still going to get a lot of runs just because Arthur Smith, who used to be the Falcons head coach, that's what he does is he runs. But the problem for Pittsburgh is they have not been good at the run because mainly of their offensive line. They've only 2 of their 5 offensive linemen have started every game. By the way, their starting right guard, James Daniels, was placed on injured reserve this week.
Mason McCormick's taking
Mason McCormick and Spencer Anderson has had to jump in. They're hoping to get Isaac Seumalo, who has missed the first 4 weeks. He was on the injured designated to return, so he's been practicing. They're hoping to get him back. And by the way, one of the 2 that has started every week is a rookie at center. So I know that Mozzie is coming off arguably his best game as a professional in week 4. Can we all agree on that?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Sure. But I think this is one where I'm looking for Osa to have a big game this week too.
Really
you know, I think the 2 interior defensive linemen are going to be so crucial this week. And then, of course, you're going to have 2 new starters at defensive end with Golston, right, and Marshawn Nealand taking over for D-Law and Micah Parsons. So as long as Osa and Mozzie can eat up those interior blockers, that's been the issue for the Steelers, free up the linebackers to come up and go after Harris and Shamklin, then you've got a, hard to say name.
All of us.
Then, then it bodes well.
What about but the thing is like this defensive line hasn't really been getting pressure. Not nearly at the the Cowboys defensive line has not been really generating pressure. Granted, they are just now starting to get opportunities to actually rush the passer because first downs were coming on first downs for some weeks. But that's one of my concerns too. When you talk about your concern being the secondary, it starts with the defensive line. Yeah, because if the defensive line is able to get pressure, it's going to help those guys out. But those guys aren't really getting that help right now. So what is really going to be interesting to me is looking at how they generate pressure. If you can't just get it with 4, how you situationally find ways to do it. Because I do think this offensive line can be had. You can do some twist stunts. I mean, they're filling gaps kind of right now on that side. So I would hope that this defensive line finds a way to help out the secondary if the secondary is depleted with the loss of Trevon Diggs or something.
When you talk about getting pressure, I think this is also where Chauncey Golston kind of comes into play because he's that versatile guy who plays on the outside and the inside. So maybe you use a Golston who can kind of create pressure from the interior. I don't know. Do you think that's kind of maybe a possibility?
I mean, I think that they're gonna. The thing is, and I heard Zimmer talk about the loss of Micah a little bit, and he was saying he doesn't think they're gonna change. Teams are gonna change a whole bunch, but yeah, they are gonna probably take. Be a little less stressed. So this defensive line, these young guys, and Chauncey Golston and those guys, they're going to have to put some good tape out there. They're going to have to gain the respect of other opposing teams with their play. So this week is going to be important. And when you talk, and I think Chauncey Golston is going to be a key guy. He's been here. He has experience. He plays the run well, whatever. Maybe they do some mixing up, and we'll see some other packages. Because I do think that Zimmer hasn't. There's some stuff we haven't. There's a lot of stuff we haven't seen.
Yeah,
he has not played nearly all of his cards
because
yet.
they haven't been in third down situations. So hopefully they can get them in those situations, and we can see some of the stuff you're talking about, Nicole.
Yeah. I think the thing with Micah is very few times are you just going to have one blocker on Micah. Micah's going to get chipped, whether it's a back or a tight end giving shoving him from the side before releasing and things like that. So
Holding.
And there are only and a guy. Not everyone just gets that kind of respect, right?
Yeah.
And so when you're not having to leave guys in or have them help against the Golstons and Nealons of the world, at least not to this point, maybe they get to that point where they are drawing chips and on all sorts of things. But until then, it frees up the offense to do more because you're not having to leave. It's a freer release off the line. It's a release out of the backfield. You're not having to do scat protection and wait and, help block before you release out into a pattern. So there. It's dominoes. We talk about it all the time. It's not just dominoes of, who's going to be called up from the practice squad, but how which plays you run and getting guys out into routes quicker and things like that.
Something you talk about with getting pressure is Justin Fields has recorded a plus 6.6% completion percentage over expected this season. So that's third highest in the NFL. So obviously getting pressure will be a key part in this Dallas Cowboys defense. But we're going to take our first break, and up next, we're going to talk about this run game, the improvements that we need to see from the Dallas Cowboys heading into Week 5. We'll be right back on Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Jigsaw, the preferred dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the Playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
We know that juicy, cheesy, grilled to perfection burger sounds amazing, but it does sound like something is missing. Pepsi, baby! The yin to this burger's yang. Burgers and Pepsi go together like burgers and Pepsi. This perfect blending of flavors makes every bite of lettuce, every sesame seed on the bun, and every sip of that crisp, refreshing, ice-cold cola a journey to Foodtopia. Burgers, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
At Jigsaw Dating, we obviously want the Cowboys to bring that 6th ring home. But to be honest, we're more focused on finding the person who will put a ring on your finger. That's why we created a dating app that reveals your face through meaningful conversation, so you can date deeper. Because it's personality that matters the most, not looks. Join Jigsaw Dating today, dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
The Dickey family always mandated that the only Polish-style sausage worthy of their restaurant must have high-quality coarse ground beef and pork, rich spices, and fresh natural casings. We still serve it to this day, and it's so popular, Dickey's sausage has been named the official sausage of the Dallas Cowboys. The perfect matchup on game day. Dickey's Barbecue Pit. No one outsmokes us. Order at dickeys.com. For groups, call 866-BARBECUE.
Dibs on the ribs.
Head to AT&T Stadium to experience Rally Day presented by SeatGeek on Saturday, October 12th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Get ready to cheer on your Dallas Cowboys with tours of AT&T Stadium, autographs from the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, ticket giveaways, games, and more. Visit AT&TStadium.com/rallydays to get your tickets today. Yay!
Woo! Rally Days. Sorry, I should have been more excited. It's Friday. Woo! Rally Day! Let's go!
The flip of the switch is crazy. Oh, wait.
Sorry.
That was insane.
My bad,
That
y'all.
was insane.
I just feel like we needed a little bit more like a wake me up.
Yeah, no,
the
we
coffee
did.
kicked in just
I
right.
don't
at
know
that
No,
what.
I have no coffee.
That was just her. That was just natural from the soul.
Just
enthusiasm.
me. You know, gotta bring
Excited
it.
for Sunday.
I am. I hope that the Cowboys. Why are you looking at me like this?
Trying to wake up.
Wake up!
Don't have her yell.
Oh my!
Just tell her you're awake.
You gonna be that mama? Oh my God!
In some years, I got like 8.
She gets so you
Yeah.
kid.
She's like,
I got like 8 years.
Oh Jesus, no!
Let's give it away. But no, very excited. Hopefully the Cowboys bring home a win, but very excited to hopefully see a run game. I don't know. We haven't really seen it this year. Slowly improving week to week. But right now, I know the Cowboys rank last in rushing yards so far in the NFL. But how far off is this run game? Real quick, because we have something that Hunter Lipke kind of said in locker room. I'll start with you, Jess.
Oh, you already know. You already know I was ready for this.
Yes.
I'm going to soapbox a little bit here about the run game because here's what I've noticed. For the last 3 years, I'll give it 2 years, we've questioned where the run game is, how it's being utilized, and ultimately I'm kind of coming to the conclusion that this is by design. That obviously McCarthy wants a more pass-heavy offense, okay, but also it just feels like there's always a little bit of confusion when it comes to how to utilize your personnel in the run game. Yeah. Last year, you had Tony Pollard and Rico Dowdle. Great. You knew who the 1 was. You knew who the 2 was. Now, were they utilized? No, and you question why, and you kind of chalked it up to, yeah, it's Mike McCarthy's first-year play calling. It's a new playbook, this and that. This year, I'm getting a little frustrated with it, and let me tell you why. Zeke comes in. He's your running back 1. You knew that. And I'm not talking about this year. I'm talking pre-Patriot Zeke, okay? Last year, Tony Pollard's your running back 1. Earned it. Put his time in as the 2 to really stand out, and it wasn't obvious. This year, you're coming in, and yes, there was a lot of questions on who would look best at camp. It's continued to be Rico Dowdle, and I don't understand why he continues to have to fight for more reps over and over and over again when he's clearly your best running back that you have elevated right now. Because Dalvin Cook, I don't see him being elevated for at least 2 weeks. I'm just going to throw it out there. I wouldn't count on it next week.
I gave it 3.
Yeah, I wouldn't even count on it after the bye because that's just what's going around. And with these injury situations on your defense, doesn't help that either, like Christy mentioned earlier. So I'm frustrated for Rico because it's almost like, what else does he have to show you? He's been the most consistent running back in the room. He's going to get you yardage, but you're not chalking up a playbook to help your personnel here. So I'm frustrated with how the play calling has gone. I'm frustrated with how the run game has been established. But right now, I have no choice but to think it's by design that this is how the run game is supposed to look.
Can I just say that I think that Mike McCarthy is also frustrated.
He should be.
Because he should be because, and he's the first to tell you, we haven't had enough trips to the plate. Baseball analogy. Haven't had enough time to get up there and swing the bat, right? But Rico Dowdle is the only one of the running backs that has received consistent percentage of snaps. Yeah. So week 1 through week 4, not instead of number of plays, I'm going to go by the percentage of plays. Weeks 1 through 4, 44%, 43%, 46%, 45%. What's changed is Zeke has gone from 51% to 40 to 19 to 18. Deuce, 3%, 14%, 6%, 7%. The one who's really increased from week 2, especially to week 4, but Hunter Lipke had 52% of snaps last week. Yeah. Now, he's doing multiple things, right? Fullback, a little bit of tight end, F position, moving around. So Lipke's a little bit different. But Rico's out there for the same amount of snaps. It's just that, guys, the Cowboys are averaging over only 21 rushes per game.
It's crazy.
That is low.
Mm-hmm. It's usually
averaging only 21 carries per game. I am not including Dak in that because Dak, if he's running, if it's a rush for Dak, it's that does include Dak's drawn up runs.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just not getting cracks at the plate. So McCarthy is frustrated as well because you can't get into a groove as a play caller if you're constantly falling behind the sticks.
Mm-hmm.
When you get a decent run, you've got a holding call or some kind of penalty. So, yeah, I feel you, but I think the coaching staff feels it as well.
But you're also going 2 years in a row with the same issues. We were talking about penalties last year that put you behind the sticks. So
Absolutely.
Why is it not addressed 2 years later? That's where I'm frustrated because it does hurt your running backs and it hurts their abilities to do what they need to do. It hurts your play calling. It hurts all of it. So what's not being addressed in the correct way at this point? That's why I'm frustrated. And what I will say is Little Birdies mentioned I would keep an eye on Zeke's role increasing this week. That's what I'll leave that at. I would keep an eye on Zeke's usage this week going up. And that's where I'm going to leave that.
No, I would say that Zeke's probably going to get more if the conditions aren't great. And this is going to be a smash mouth game, I think, if it's a traditional Pittsburgh kind of game. If the score doesn't get lopsided and one side has to resort to more passing because you're playing catch up or something. I mean, this is going to be as close to old school football as you can get these days in the NFL, in my opinion. And so that goes to favor the Zekes and Ricos in terms of actually getting touches this week.
Yeah, I mean, I thought everything y'all said was on point as far as like them not getting the opportunities. When they are getting the opportunities, are what they doing conducive to what they do well. I would like to see Rico's vision. You know, it's not going to improve until he keeps playing. Like, I think vision is a instinctual thing with some guys, but then some guys just need to visually have the opportunity to keep seeing the game and being able to read. He hasn't had a lot of time, so that's part of it. But to your point, Jess, I think you got to start looking at the offensive line coach.
That's fair.
And I mean, when you're having these consistent issues, when you're talking about holding, we're talking about technique, we're talking about scheme, we're talking about, you know, just the way things are set up. This offensive line hasn't played entirely well either, to y'all's point about the penalties and some of the big plays being taken away. I will say that they did seem like they figured some things out with some combo and duo blocks kind of last week, kind of starting to look more in unison with how they're blocking and some of those things. And I do believe this offensive line will get more synergy over time, but this stretch is so important that you ain't got time for that. Also, it's about to get cold.
Yeah.
You need to be able to run the ball. We're going to see this offense tank if this offensive line can't figure out how to sustain drives with being efficient and not having penalties and not whiffing on blocks, getting to the second level and, you know, doing contact on contact. So it feels like a lot of things are going on at once. I think if you just, at the center of it all, if you get better offensive line play, a lot of this stuff will start opening up. If nothing, like the pass will open up the run. But you can't even get either or right now because your offensive line is struggling to this level. So I agree with everything y'all said. I just...
little cherry on top.
I mean, with the with what's going on, I would run with Rico and Lipke and call it a day. But if you are going to sprinkle in some Zeke, he can close. He does have the vision to get those short yardage situations and make decisions. He also can do things in the red zone as well. So, yeah, it's they don't know what their roles are. Yeah. They don't know what to feel. So hopefully we can get some sustained drives. That's all we're asking for at this point.
We had a chance to hear from Hunter Lipke in locker room on that same question, and here's what he had to say.
And I think, you know, we're one block away here, one block away there, so it's just 11 guys working together, and you know, we're close. We're close, so it's gonna break through one of these games.
Better be this week. Better be this week,
please.
Yeah. I mean, is this a game where you feel like this run game could break through? I mean, when you talk about the Steelers' defensive line, I mean, that's being realistic. I don't know, but
I mean, I'm gonna say yes if it's contingent on like I said, I mentioned, you know, what Anthony Richardson was able to do to them on the ground, and also to who's the Colts running back right now? I think he was averaging like 6 yards a carry last week. The confusion, the motion and stuff like that does throw off this defensive line. It really, and putting their linebackers in space even so throws off this defense. So I would be trying to do some things, getting guys out in space, maybe coming out the backfield. I mean, maybe some tosses. Like you can do things, because also too, you mentioned, I don't know if you mentioned or Chaz mentioned yesterday, running away from TJ Watt. Like some people would say like run at some guys. I would run away from this man. I wouldn't, because he's a tough dude. I wouldn't run at him. I would try to do some things, get in the pocket, moving and doing some things, attacking the edges, trying to pin some of those guys inside so you can open up those lanes, because their linebackers will make some decisions.
Yeah, and they're without Highsmith, and he's the one that plays opposite TJ Watt.
Yes, so I'm not sure this is the game where you're like, yes, they're going to get it going, but we can see them do some things that maybe they haven't done yet successfully to take into the next week. I have very little enthusiasm about it.
No, it's
I'm
such
so
a great
sorry.
test, though. It's a great test because the Steelers' run defense is
Second in the
tops.
league.
Yeah, second in the
Very
league and
good.
tops. And Cam Hayward, their defensive tackle, who's just fantastic.
Keanu Benton just eats up space.
Yeah, and so Tyler Smith and Cooper Beebe, what they do in the middle against a stout guy like that, it's going to be huge. So I know that people are kind of focusing more on Terrence Steele against T.J. Watt, and yes, it's a huge matchup, but the
It's
interior,
not the only matchup.
yeah,
That
not the only
interior
one.
is where it's going to be at.
I think so.
I think that's the main issue, I guess you want to say. So let's pray about it, I guess.
I also
your
feel
grandma.
like you can confuse them though if you craft up some spicy little run plays because, like to your point, Aisha, if you continue to confuse them, that's kind of what the Colts did a little bit that I saw working. But to end this conversation on my end, I just want to say I'm frustrated if I'm Rico Dowdle, if I'm Hunter Lipke, even if I'm Zeke, because at this point you haven't had a chance to even show, if you're Zeke specifically, what you have left. Like, you're talking about a guy who's on a 1-year contract who could potentially become a free agent next year. What tape does he have this year to show that he's worth picking up if he's a free agent? It's frustrating for all of them.
I think what you have in Zeke, or what Zeke does, you have from every other guy in this running back room. So I think at least you can get from maybe a Rico, of course.
Yeah.
He's just a younger, more faster Zeke, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, I think Rico should be a running back 1, and I think it should have been that way since camp. I don't think there should have ever been a question about it, and that's how I feel about that. I'm passionate about it.
Which back do you feel like can get the job done on Sunday if they are to sprinkle in a little bit of some creativity with this
You
run
already
game?
heard my answer.
I know yours.
For me, it would be, like we talked about Rico, but for me, it would be Hunter Lipke because of the receiving.
Okay.
That's fair.
Because that's just running at these guys is not the smartest thing to do. You want them to chase you, and he has the ability to go out in the flats, to do some things in the slot, to do some things like he has the ability to do boots and be able to turn up field and do some things. So I would say from a creativity standpoint, I would use him more so. And if you want to get CeeDee Lamb and Kevontae Turpin involved, sure. That's us where you're going. Sorry, Mama.
Oh, you're great. Go ahead.
But yeah, I would go there as well, just to maybe catch them on their heels. But I just think you can do a lot with Hunter Lipke because of his receiving capability.
Physicality.
Yeah, are you thinking CD lined up in the backfield or just on
I would say
some
more
end
Turpin.
arounds?
More Turpin.
Yeah, I would say a little bit more Turpin, just because of his speed, and he's so hard to tackle. And that's just my opinion. But I think that, what'd you say?
My question for you would be, do you feel like Brandin Cooks being out could impact that, though?
That's
because
what I
they
kinda
could use
mentioned
him a little bit more.
That's what I said
in the receiving
yesterday
game.
because
Girl.
Maybe he doesn't get stuff out the backfield.
I don't know. You have to
receiving
be
things.
creative and do a whole bunch of different things with him. Maybe as a receiver, maybe you have to be creative and use him out of the backfield. I don't know.
I hope the circumstances allow this, just because when you have a speed game, that's better when it's artificial turf and enclosed. This is natural grass. The field could be an issue. The weather could be an issue. And so sometimes the conditions can neutralize speed. And so, hopefully the conditions don't limit what the Cowboys are trying to do.
All right, ladies. Well, we're going to take our second break, and we have a nice little game coming up after the break. So stick with us, Cowboys Nation, right here on Girls Talk, Boys Talk.
The Dickey family always mandated that the only Polish-style sausage worthy of their restaurant must have high-quality coarse ground beef and pork, rich spices, and fresh natural casings. We still serve it to this day, and it's so popular, Dickey's sausage has been named the official sausage of the Dallas Cowboys. The perfect matchup on game day. Dickey's Barbecue Pit. No one outsmokes us. Order at dickeys.com. For groups, call 866-BARBECUE.
Dibs on the ribs.
We know that juicy, cheesy, grilled to perfection burger sounds amazing, but it does sound like something is missing. Pepsi, baby! The yin to this burger's yang. Burgers and Pepsi go together like Well, like burgers and Pepsi. This perfect blending of flavors makes every bite of lettuce, every sesame seed on the bun, and every sip of that crisp, refreshing, ice-cold cola a journey to Foodtopia. Burgers, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
At Jigsaw Dating, we obviously want the Cowboys to bring that sixth ring home. But to be honest, we're more focused on finding the person who will put a ring on your finger. That's why we created a dating app that reveals your face through meaningful conversation, so you can date deeper. Because it's personality that matters the most, not looks. Join Jigsaw Dating today, dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the Playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
Celebrate the best of the autumn season with the Wrangler Fall Fest at the Star in Frisco. Join us on Saturday, October 19th for a day of full of fall fun. That is a twister. Oh, my goodness.
It's fine.
For the entire family. Enjoy live country music. Yeehaw! Hang out at the beer garden and compete in Western-inspired games. Guys, this sounds like so much fun. Plus, capture all the fall photo ops, savor seasonal bites, and enjoy Wrangler shopping. Admission and parking is free. Visit thestardistrict.com for more information. You already know that's my kind of place. I'll be there. Catch me there. Yeehaw.
Yeehaw. All right, we have a little game. It's Name That Stat Line Cowboys Steelers edition.
Okay.
So I have the answer on here, so I can't let y'all pick.
Okay.
It was just easier for me.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
Here we go. Blank is the only QB in the NFL that has, oh my goodness, that has accounted for 100% of his team's offensive touchdowns, either throwing or rushing.
Dak.
Is this between
Wait,
the
is this
Steelers?
it? Okay, I was like,
Steelers
wait,
edition.
hold
So
on.
it's just Cowboys
I had to think
Steelers.
It
about
gotta
that.
be Justin Fields.
What do you think, Christy?
It's Fields
Is
because
it?
he's run for 3, right?
Yeah.
There you go. Okay.
Dang, they only had 3
Yeah.
touchdowns.
That's crazy.
Rush, 3 rushing touchdowns.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
so
ready.
like Najee Harris doesn't have a rushing touchdown.
Okay, I understand the assignment now. I'm
Lord
ready.
have mercy.
That was my warm up. Christy's like,
Blank?
yeah, right.
Blank uses 14 personnel 2% and 13 personnel 17% of the time at the NFL's highest rate.
Oh, that's the Steelers. They run. I talked to the players about that. I said, baby, why
Yeah.
they run? They baby, them tight. They down to their last tight end is making every penny that they getting paid out there.
They're worn and torn. I'm tired.
Oh, y'all good at this.
We studied this week.
Yeah.
Studied.
Talk about it.
Okay, what you got?
I got
I'm gonna let y'all got it. I'm not.
No,
gonna
I'm
get
scared.
it.
No, we need you. Aisha.
Yeah, we need. I know. This is like
Steelers cornerback.
You told us to.
Steelers. I got it.
No.
I got it.
No.
I'm gonna go
I got it.
Technically, I didn't say who.
I guess
So
the Steelers.
Steelers,
I guess Steelers.
cornerback. I was trying to give like a...
No, that's not the
That's right.
game. You said
Steelers
Cowboys or
cornerback
Steelers.
blank. Graded, oh my goodness.
You can't read your own handwriting. Story of my life.
You know what? That's crazy. I really can't read that.
Dang, I
That's
wanted to answer that
insane.
one.
Okay,
Let me
Joey
try to-
Porter Jr.
She just
Nope.
Beanie.
What was I? Oh, graded top 5. Sorry, that's what it was supposed to say. So
What does
Steelers
it say?
cornerback blank has been graded a top 5 cornerback in the NFL.
Not Joey. Well,
After
Joey
week 4.
Porter.
After week 4.
Oh, after week 4.
Oh, after week 4.
Hold on. Hold the horses.
Who the heck is their corners? Dante Jackson?
Yeah.
Those-
Who?
Beanie Bishop?
Corey Trice Jr.
Well, he was just
okay.
put on IR.
Okay.
So that's
Okay.
Okay.
Dang it. Well, good thing he
That's
ain't
a
out
hard
there.
one.
No
He's not
offense.
even.
I hope
He's
you get
not
better,
even a
Brody.
starter. He's not
But
even
then
a
I also
starter.
looked at Amani Aruarie, and he was like rated top 15 or top 20 after week 4. So it's kind of like
Okay. So that was a trick question.
It's a smaller sample size.
It is.
All right, here we go. There have only been. This one's gonna be. There have only been 2 missed field goals in blank games this season.
What?
For the NFL.
Which team?
Oh,
It's only Cowboys Steelers.
Well, it's got to be. It's got to
Yeah.
be Steelers then.
Yeah, because Aubrey only missed one.
Bosworth.
Yeah.
He's a good kicker though.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Steelers.
It said both.
Oh really?
Is that counting preseason? Didn't Aubrey miss one in
regular
preseason?
season.
Trick question. The answer was both. Okay, I like that.
You cheat.
I had 10.
I need a red flag. Hold on. I like a yellow flag.
Jazz can give the little buzzer. All right. Okay, here we go. Blank have a 16.7% success rate on running back runs on first downs. It's the worst in the league.
Gee. I wonder who that could be.
That's truly 50-50 because both of these teams are not doing well in the run game. I'll go Cowboys.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Then first, second
Now
down.
you're just poking at the bear with me
them
today.
first,
You're
second
like
down runs
the
be
run
making me
game.
eat.
The run game.
My bad.
We have
I'm
a
just going by the
50%
numbers.
shot on this game, and we're still
That
only
one
getting
I
50%.
knew though. That one I felt confident in.
Ooh, okay. No wide receiver has more receiving yards this year without a touchdown than blank.
That sound like George Pickens.
Yeah.
Hey,
Sound like the story of his life so far, story of his career. He be out there making plays.
It's like back in the day. I mean, Michael Irvin had his fair share of touchdowns, but Emmett with all his. Michael would catch it, get down to like the 2-yard line or the 1-yard line, and then Emmett would run it in.
Oh,
you know,
I also feel like
get all
Justin
those
Fields though is
touchdowns.
the reason for that.
Yeah,
because
but
his
he's the
red
modern
zone
day
productivity-
Julio. Remember
Julio
Julio
Jones,
Jones was
yeah.
the same way, where he was just like all the yards, and people be like,
Yeah.
where's
It's
the
like
TDs?
Jason Witten, the same thing. Witten did not have a lot of TDs for all of
Lord
his
have
catches.
mercy. Go ahead, baby. What you got?
Blank. I have to burp. Excuse me, guys. I'm sorry.
Screaming.
I'm so sorry. Blank's 316 receiving yards are 8th most in the NFL.
CD.
Ding, 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 ding. Yeah, you're right.
All right.
Oh, nice.
Hey, come on, y'all. I'm good at this.
Man, I suck at this game.
It's not that easy to be
I'm
honest.
just like I'm confused.
I'm sorry.
oh,
my
I'm
bad.
glad you're challenging us. I'm
No,
having
it's
to really
good.
think.
Okay, blank
I'm not a good test taker.
have just
I get test anxiety.
blank have just one kickoff return through 4 games on their collective opponents. Oh my gosh. And their collective opponents have a 93% touchback percentage.
Read it again.
I think Cowboys, they've only had, I mean, they haven't really had too many. Well, no.
That's the
No, it's
Steelers.
got to be Steelers
Yeah.
because I can think of 3 or 4 really great hits on
Yeah.
kickoff
Ding, ding,
returns.
ding, ding, ding.
Yeah,
it's
say
Steelers.
that the 93%.
Wait, so
is
say
what
say
threw
the
me
last
off.
part
yeah,
of it.
hold
'cause
on,
that's
reread that
important, 'cause-
again.
So the
Yeah, it's the
Steelers
Steelers.
have just one kickoff return through 4 games, and their collective opponents have a 93% touchback percentage.
So,
Yeah, okay,
So
yeah,
that's why they've only returned
that
it
bodes
once.
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense.
Not the evil laugh. She knows what she's doing to us.
Week 4, blank. This is his stat line. And it's
Specific
Steelers.
person.
Steelers.
Okay,
gosh.
I'm ready.
Week 4, blank. 2 tackles for loss, 4 assisted tackles, so 6 total. 1 sack for 7 yards, 3 quarterback hits, 1 tackle for loss.
TJ.
That sounds low for TJ.
No, low.
For TJ Watt?
That's a full stat line.
And defensive line, I'm going to give y'all a hint.
For TJ Watt.
Hayward.
Yeah.
Cam
Oh,
Hayward.
okay.
Yeah.
He's a terror. He's just a terror. He's a terror,
Basically,
y'all.
in
Him and Tyler Smith going at
It's
it.
going to be
is
fun.
gonna be fun.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
box office.
I'm so ready. Box office is hilarious. Blank is giving up 23.8 yards to tight ends. Which team?
To
Per
tight
game,
ends?
28 yards per game to tight ends. Wow.
I'm going to say the Steelers.
I'm gonna say Cowboys.
Steelers.
Just
Yeah.
the Steelers?
Yeah.
Oh, I think
I was gonna say, 'cause there's more wide
Ferguson's
receiver play.
Ferguson's gonna get that
Even though
hopefully in the
that
first quarter.
what
Good.
tight ends have they
Good.
gone up against? Let me see.
Yeah, let's see. Who's
Because
That's interesting.
their linebackers
Their
and coverage
schedule they've
aren't-
played.
It could also
Rams,
make sense why
Denver.
Tomlin
Yeah,
kind
they
of
played
mentioned Ferguson specifically this week, and given he has a tie to his grandpa and all of that, but why Tomlin was very adamant about talking about Jake Ferguson.
You said Rams.
Well, they
who else?
played Atlanta, so Pitts.
And Denver.
Kyle
Pitts.
Pitts.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they also bring Minka Fitzpatrick down a lot of the time to
They
help
got
out.
really good safeties.
Yeah, he's good. He's good. So that might be why that is, because I'm not scared of they linebackers. Sorry to tell you.
Stupid. Blank leads the team with 228 rushing yards. This is Steelers. Dang, that's easy.
Not
Najee.
Najee. Not.
You know what's funny about Najee though is like the way that a lot of Cowboys fans feel about Zeke is literally how people feel about Najee. They're just like, he doesn't got it anymore. He's not explosive. He's just straight
Yeah, but he's being utilized.
north to south. Like that's how they look
The
at
run
him.
game's productive. That's
Yeah.
the difference.
Last one, game winner. Game on the line. What y'all gonna do? Are you gonna stand tall? Or are you gonna fold?
Oh, we're standing tall.
Oh
All
my
right, let's
God.
do this.
I'm not folding.
Blank has 4 interceptions this season.
Justin Fields? No.
No,
Which
he's barely-
team?
Oh.
that they've gotten.
Yes. Which
Well,
team?
It gotta be the
Steelers have
Steelers.
4.
Yeah.
The
It gotta
Steelers
be the
have 4.
Steelers. Cowboys
don't
ain't
think
got no
it's
turnovers
Cowboys.
like that.
It said it's both.
Oh.
Both.
Actually,
Who got picks for us?
Well, so
wasn't it week the
Donnie.
Saints?
AO, and then first
Dono.
week, Kendricks.
I said Kendrick.
Who was the last one?
Dono did have one.
Okay.
Who was the last one though?
Dang, was my fact check
Wilson.
I
We said
Wilson.
Dono.
I said Dono.
Dono,
Kendricks, Diggs, Overwarrior,
Diggs.
and Wilson.
Diggs.
Dang, I didn't remember when Diggs had one.
2 weeks ago, right?
Was it 2 weeks
Yeah.
ago?
Speaking of though, that's my key to the game.
Is takeaways.
Turnovers.
Making them
nice.
turn the ball over. They run. I categorize as a very careful offense in the way they do things. Justin Fields is doing a good job of protecting the ball. Make them put that ball on the ground. If you can take advantage of Zach Frazier, I mentioned they're having some issues with the snaps and snap
That's
communication.
their rookie center.
Yes, rookie center Zach Frazier, really good player. I'm hoping that the Cowboys can find some force some fumbles. Rip some. If Justin Fields is gonna run, punch that freaking ball out. Make him have to think twice about it. I think they will have some opportunities there. They just got to capitalize, make the play.
I need a score prediction real quick, ladies. Yep, I said it.
23-20
up.
Cowboys.
Oh,
wow.
we're out of time. That's so
No, we're not.
crazy.
That was a good one.
I try it every week.
tried it.
I try it every week, girl.
You're so certain.
I'm gonna go 17-20.
Who?
You just asked for a score prediction. You didn't ask for a
Who's
winner.
gonna win?
Sorry, y'all. I'm going Steelers this week. You know it's bad. I'm down bad when I'm going opposing team. And I'm doing it as a good omen.
I'm going to go 19-24 Cowboys. I think Cowboys force a safety in there somehow, some way.
We're all in the same ballpark in terms of scoring.
Yeah, I don't
Scoring. What
see
do you
it
think,
being
Nicole?
High scoring at all.
Watch it be. They get on my nerves
I'm
so
gonna
bad.
go Cowboys 21.
Okay.
Steelers 14.
Oh, wow.
So is the 21 going to be 3 touchdowns and PATs, or is
Yep.
it going to be 7 field goals by Brandon
3
Aubrey?
touchdowns and PATs.
Okay.
I'm
for
not
the
as scared.
Cowboys.
Respectfully, I'm not as scared
gonna
as,
get it done.
scared as these people. I'm not even as scared as these people as I was Cleveland. You've seen a defensive line like this.
Here's
You
the
have.
thing.
All year.
You've seen a defensive line like this.
And it
You've
is
seen
a
better.
mismatch with CD against their rookie nickel
Yeah.
corner.
Here's the thing.
So this
literally
could be a
said that.
really huge game
CD
for
game.
CD.
Yeah,
I'm traumatized, so I'm just keeping my expectations low.
You're putting the double reverse jinx on the Steelers.
I am.
Thank you for your courage.
Because when I didn't do that, I was sitting in the middle of the who dat little chant at AT&T
Not who
Stadium.
dat.
I don't want to do whatever.
They have no good
I'm
time.
excited about
I wanna do
Pittsburgh.
that
This
again.
is, if you love football, I get asked all the time, what's your favorite place to play? We only get to go to Pittsburgh once every 8 years, but in my opinion, if you're going to go to 2 places other than AT&T Stadium, of course, to
Yeah.
see an NFL game, Green Bay, Lambeau Field is number 1. That's like the Fenway of the NFL. But Pittsburgh is real football. I love it, and I can't wait.
Well, the last time the Cowboys played on primetime was like 1982, and the Steelers won that game. So hopefully we get a different outcome. Ha, 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 ha. Kickoff is at
I'm done with you.
7
Goodbye.
p.m. on Sunday. Cowboys Nation, hopefully we are back with a victory Monday on Monday. But so long for Nicole Hutchison, Aisha Morrison, Jess Tavares, and Chrissy Scales. We'll be back here next week.
Bye.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?